Ever since we got Xfinity Mobile, the whole family now has the fastest mobile service. Back in my day, we didn't have it nearly as good.
Oh yeah? Back in my day, you couldn't even stream outside the house. I don't like to think about it.
Switch to Xfinity Mobile, the fastest mobile service with 5G and millions of Wi-Fi hotspots. Get the best price for 2 unlimited lines with 5G compared to the lowest price plans of the top 3 carriers. Just $30 a line per month. Visit Xfinity.com/fastestmobile to learn more. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Unlimited intro service and Xfinity Internet required. Taxes and fees extra. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of usage. Data thresholds may vary.
Hey mama, have you been looking for guided meditations that can really speak to this journey of motherhood? Then check out the Meditation for Moms podcast. Free guided meditations that are here to help support you throughout the entire journey of motherhood. Motherhood is no joke. It's full of incredible highs, heartbreaking lows, and everything in between. Meditation for Moms gives you guided meditations that will speak to your soul no matter what season of motherhood you're in. Listen for free today. Follow Meditation for Moms on your favorite podcast player.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily, episode 1777. Top 4 Budget Adjustments to Stop Overspending by Gina Zakaria of SavingWhiz.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome back for our weekly Sunday bonus episode here on ORD. I'm your host, Greg Audino, and in case you did not know, on each Sunday, in addition to our regular episode about relationship building, which you might have just heard from Mark Manson, we also provide a separate episode that previously aired on one of the other shows in our network. A lot of times, the contents of these episodes are applicable in one way or another to relationship building, but at the very least, it's a great way for you to get a sense of the other shows we offer, should they cover topics that are also important to you. Today's comes from Optimal Finance Daily, and it's all about budget adjustments that you can make to stop overspending. Certainly something helpful for us to all keep in mind, whether we are managing our finances alone or with a partner. So listen closely. Here is Diana with the post and her narration as we optimize your life.
Top 4 Budget Adjustments to Stop Overspending by Gina Zakaria of SavingWhiz.com. Making budget adjustments is a requirement to maintain an effective budget that works. And knowing when to make proper budget adjustments is key to long-lasting success with your money, because there will always be times when circumstances in your life change. So your budget needs to be flexible enough to withstand those changes. A couple of years ago, I sprained my ankle. Not the type of sprain where you just twist your ankle, it gets swollen, and in a couple of days you're walking again. No, it was a grade 2 sprain, meaning I tore 2 ligaments. Fun times. I'd like to say that I sprained my ankle doing something fun. Budget pitfall. Because of my sprained ankle, my budget took a major hit. I wasn't able to stick to it for 3 weeks. Our grocery budget was being used for takeout, and since takeout is so darn expensive, the amount that should have lasted a full month only lasted about a week or 2, tops. We were eating out for every single meal for 3 weeks. No kidding, my husband was so busy taking care of me and the girls. He was also driving me to and from work each day, and given that he only knows how to make 3 or 4 breakfast items, eating out seemed easier than eating scrambled eggs every day. But our wallet was screaming in pain. I mean, this frugal mom, yours truly, would complain when we ate out twice a week, and now we're eating out 10 times more than that. It felt like we were hemorrhaging money with no end in sight. It was really stressful because I knew that in the short run, we were fine. But in the long run, we were essentially robbing ourselves blind. We'd been down this road before. It was only a few months before that we ran into another snag with our budget. I knew the only way to fix this was to make budget adjustments fast in order to avoid major issues down the road. Our budget was not working. The house was a mess, and I felt frazzled. Making budget adjustments. Step 1, check the damage. The first thing I did was check my card balance. It's like when you binged on food and immediately check the scale the next morning. Of course, in the case of weight, the scale the next day is very inaccurate, but the bank statement never lies. It tracks every ill-spent penny and haunts you with every line item. It was hard to escape the truth, but I expected it to be worse, believe it or not. Knowing where I stood helped me understand how to move past it and make better choices immediately. It's more important when you fall off the wagon that you come to grips with how you're doing using real figures. Compare how much you spent to how much you normally would spend during that period. Step 2, start planning with a budget. The second thing I did was start planning and creating a new budget. We had to plan our week and make budget adjustments that made sense for the season of life we were in. So I created an easy meal plan, wrote out a shopping list, and checked in with our budget. We adjusted the budget to get some easy meal helpers. These tend to be more expensive, but it would be better than the price of takeout. Step 3, mitigate the damages. If you're falling behind with your finances, you have to make budget adjustments that get you through your current situation. This way you can effectively control how much money you're spending and start getting back on track. The way we decided to adjust our budget was to increase our food budget a little. Having a little more wiggle room in our budget meant that we could get ready-made meals and helpers that would make it easier to eat in. It's not our ideal, but it would still save us money by not eating out. Since this was a temporary budget adjustment, we could slowly get back on track without having a drastic change to our budget amounts. Remember, gradual adjustments will work better than extreme changes. It's all about taking steps in the right direction and moving forward. Step 4, give yourself grace. Life happens and it affects our money. At the most inopportune time, emergencies occur. The most important thing to remember is that we need to get back up and keep going. It doesn't matter how long you've been messing up or how much more you're in the hole. Get back up and try again. Make adjustments to your budget, create a plan to stick to it, and do your best. You'll be thankful you did. Messing up doesn't mean you're not cut out for budgeting. It doesn't mean you're not capable of saving and investing and getting the life you dream of. It just means that you're still in the trial and error stage of budgeting, and that's okay. Everyone has a time in their life when things aren't perfect because we're all human. Budgets are meant to be adjusted as needed. It should be a live document that changes with time and circumstances. So don't worry if your budget isn't perfect. It only matters that it helps you better control your money. You have what it takes to be a better budgeter. You can do this, I promise. You just listened to the post titled Top 4 Budget Adjustments to Stop Overspending by Gina Zakaria of SavingWhiz.com.
So you open Google Chrome on your phone, you're hunting for a super rare first edition vinyl of a band you're obsessed with when you're supposed to be working. But this site you tapped on seems pretty shady. And Daryl from IT just jumped up from his desk. Oh no, he's coming your way. It's a good thing built-in malware protection keeps you safe and sound. Not from Daryl though, sorry. There's no place like Chrome. Download Google Chrome on your phone.
At Discount Tire, we know your time is valuable. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online. Did you know Discount Tire now sells wiper blades? Check out our current deals at discounttire.com or stop in and talk to an associate today. Discount Tire.
Let's get you taken care of.
This is a great reminder that budgets are not written in blood. Budgets are an amazing tool, but only if you actually use them. And you're more likely to use them to their full potential if they're adjustable. I have found budgeting to be an important way for me to grow my awareness and mindfulness around my money. When I look back on my mistakes with money, much of it had to do with burying my head in the sand and simply not paying attention. Budgeting is like shining a light on your financial situation, facing the reality and empowering yourself with a plan. Now, there are many times when you might not actually spend in the way you plan, and that's okay. Much of the process of budgeting is making assumptions, testing those assumptions, and then making adjustments accordingly. So for example, my current budget of $1,500 per month on discretionary spending started out as $1,000 per month. Month after month, I failed to meet that $1,000 budget. And because I track my spending so closely, I could see that $1,000 simply wasn't realistic. It needed to be adjusted, and so I raised it to $1,500 by reworking other areas of my budget. I'd also like to point out that progress towards a budget that works is going to still serve you better in the long run than no budget at all. Think of a budget as shooting for the moon. If you land among the stars, that's still pretty good. So for example, when I was getting out of debt, I had an ambitious food budget of $50 per week. In the beginning, I found this challenging, and I would net out at $75 or $100 some weeks. But this was still better than what I would have spent if I didn't have that $50 goal. Over time, I figured out how to feed myself well on $50 per week, and that is now a skill I will have forever. These days, I'm in a better financial position, and I spend more on food. But building that frugal muscle gives me confidence that if I find myself in a situation where I need to scale back my food budget, I know I can do it because I have done it. And that should do it for today. Have a happy rest of your day, and I'll see you on the Thursday show tomorrow on Christmas Eve, where your optimal life awaits.